How hard does George Lucas have to try to get away from Star Wars every day?
Oh, Christ.
Can you imagine how much weird Star Wars shit is around his house?
He's got a working AT-AT in his backyard.
And he just uses it to like take out the garbage and stuff.
Go to the grocery store.
His daughter's an MMA fighter. Have you seen?
The apple fell far from the tree, huh?
Well, she seems to be more influenced by Boba Fett, maybe, as a father figure than her own father, based on what I saw. But yeah, she towers over her Yoda-like father. But then also, have you seen George Lucas's wife?
No.
Okay, before I proceed, please Google that.
Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep.
It's a popular search. George Lucas is dating a chocolate goddess.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's way too pretty for him.
And about 3 feet taller than him. And yeah, how? Well, I was going to say how. We know how. $5 billion will do that. But you know what $5 billion can't fix?
Frog jowl.
Frog jowl. A pulsating, puffy frog jowl that for some reason he still shaves every day to expose.
He wants to show you where his chin is.
Lucas is going to have us killed. You know, he's probably he's a huge fan of this show.
Well, he was up until now. It's the only show that doesn't talk about Star Wars, so he's the only sanctuary he had. And
after I saw George Lucas's statuesque black wife, I just have a whole different view now of what his life must be like.
do you think that he made red tails to court her?
I did consider that.
That's a very racist thing of me to say.
No,
but,
it's not.
But
no,
it
absolutely is not at all. It's a very realistic thing of you to say.
Well, you know you're not doing it in the dong department.
That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I was working my way up to. What's happening in the boudoir there?
I believe that
Is George just...
he's got another frog sack, and it's below his dick nose.
That goiter is...
When he takes off his shirt, it's pure Chewbacca.
It's a Chewbacca from the front, a Tauntaun from the side, but he's all Rancor from behind. Whatever that means.
That's a very sexy chimera.
Trying to make love to George Lucas. There's like a full-size Chewbacca, you know, at the end of the bed staring at you.
The things he can afford to stack our bedroom with. Mark Hamill's literally in a glass case, eating chips and watching. It's 11. Yeah, I'd still like going to shows, but I have definitely my old man patterns versus my young man patterns.
You know, there'll be shows I will want to see for sure, but it's just kind of like, they'll be back through, you know, certain bands.
Certain venues just fucking suck it out.
There's
And
that
make
too.
it really hard
Yeah.
to go see.
Absolutely.
Like going to shows at the Gothic, I love them now. I used to hate them, but now that like we know people all there who work there, you have a spot that's comfortable and you have a guaranteed seat.
I like the Gothic. Yeah, I like the atmosphere there. That's probably one of my favorite ones.
What's your least favorite venue in Denver?
Oh, jeez. Well, any local death metal band that wants to play in a bar, forget it. Okay, any bar, forget it.
Hey, I saw Anal Blast at a bar.
Yeah, we did. I was there. It was when
Kings.
Don Decker's liver was like falling apart.
Yeah,
and he was like gray
His
when he was
skin
on
was
stage.
awful, and he was like weirdly skinny in places you didn't expect him to
Yeah.
be skinny, but super fat in other places.
Yeah, and he was drinking. It was like,
yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was helping his condition one bit.
Yeah, that was I told you my friend Tisha knew him personally, and she said she went to his house and he lived in some kind of a fucking shack that apparently he bathed with a hose That's what I know about him.
I mean, it checks out.
She said there were parts of it that was like a dirt floor, and he like bathed with a hose. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Was the hose inside the shack or outside the
From
shack?
the way I remember it, it was inside, but I might
Even weirder.
This is a story this is from a long time ago, so I might be butchering this.
Well, if you keep that kind of living situation, you can go on a 5-week tour, no problem.
And yet, he was the guy that helped run the Milwaukee Metal Fest. And
Yeah.
shit,
I'm surprised with all the different fests that have popped up in the last few years, like how Milwaukee Metal Fest has not made a comeback.
I think it's only because he died.
Really?
Yeah.
He was literally keeping it all going.
I think it was his baby. Yeah.
Because that used to be the premier, like, even before Maryland Death
Yeah.
Fest. That was like,
I saw Cradle of Filth there. It was their first American show. Mayhem played there. It may have been one of their first American shows. I saw Emperor's first American show there. I saw Gorgoroth's first American show there, and it was Gorgoroth with Gaul. It was like when he first started. And oh my
and he
God,
had something to prove.
he was terrifying. I didn't know anything about him until years and years later. He just would stare at the fuck, like he just stared at you in between, then and then he'd just stare at the crowd. Like just, anyone want to break eye contact with me, motherfucker? Yeah, it was
Just
terrible.
staring for dominance.
Yeah, it was. I remember saying to my friends, I don't know who that fuck that guy is, but he's the scariest guy ever in black metal. That guy's the best. And then years later, the Satan video and shit came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got to see so many fucking legendary bands. I saw Macabre, I saw Hypocrisy, and then and then afterwards, most of them were walking around hanging out, so I got to meet a lot of them. I saw Deceased there. I saw, like I said, Mayhem. Saw Impaled Nazarene.
See, I saw Deceased in a bar.
Was this the one where he was drinking milk that we went to?
Yes,
Oh,
a
yeah.
5-star bar in Los Angeles, and it was not a hefty crowd, but it was a dedicated crowd. So he was putting on a show like it was a stadium, of course. King Fowley.
Unlike King himself, who's both hefty and dedicated.
Yes, exactly. He put on a great show. I mean, I stole a move from him on stage where he does the Frankenstein walk.
Oh yeah, I like when he does that. Yeah.
Made me so excited. I tried to figure out how to do my own version.
Just please tell King Fowley to stop with the gallon of milk on stage. Like, just taking swigs from a gallon of milk
Yes.
in between songs.
Yeah.
Come on, King. Come
You
on.
can put it into a different container. You don't have to make it obvious that it's a gallon of milk. But
or you can just stop doing it altogether. That'd be
well, maybe it
not
was
good
like
for his waistline or his cholesterol at his age.
we don't know if it's whole milk or what.
The man had a stroke already, Justin, and he's drinking whole milk on stage. It's buttermilk. He's drinking half and half.
It's pure whipping cream.
The man's gonna croak live on stage.
No, I think he's gonna croak in a documentary or making a Facebook post.
A Facebook post about how Anthrax sucks. They're fucking posers, and he hates them.
How in 1982 they looked at him wrong. I love those
Neil
stories.
Turbin still owes me $5.
I fucking love those stories like that. I've never met the dude, but I've been reading these stories on. No, I did. I met him one time. He was walking by the line at Maryland Death Fest one year, and I was like, "Fucking King Fowley!" And he just grabbed me and was like, "Take the picture." Put his tongue out, and I was like, "All right, you knew what I wanted. Thank you, sir."
His literal name is King. Kingston King Fowley apparently is his fucking
Kingston
name.
King Fowley. Wow.
I don't know if he's embellishing that at all, but apparently part of that's his actual fucking name.
I wonder if it'd be funny if his parents treated him really poorly. Gave him the name King and treated him like a peasant.
I've actually heard him on podcasts telling stories about his life several times, believe it or not. So, believe it or not, I actually know quite a bit about King. Like he's actually been on a couple of paranormal podcasts talking about his ghost stories and stuff. And
Oh, shit.
hauntings and stuff. Yeah, King is an interesting guy. He should do more of that, actually.
Yeah, that would be, I'd pay to listen to that.
He puts a lot of it in the goddamn lyrics, Justin.
Yes, I listen.
It's all ghost stories and spooky shit. Not an influence on me at all.
Alex, have you ever experienced a visit from a ghost or
A visit from Dread.
do 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 do?
So the only thing that I've got, I'm kind of terrified of the idea of it, but I'm also okay with it. You know that thing. It's like if there are ghosts, if there's spirits around, it's just like, hey, I understand you got shit going on. I'm just here to grab some milk.
Don't mind me, folks. I'm just here to cream my coffee.
I'm very similar. Yeah, same policy with me.
Whatever thing you have going on, just continue on and let me know if I'm in the way.
I like horror. I'm friendly with ghosts.
I swear, if you need anything, I'm not gonna sign a contract.
I think you should sign a contract.
I'm not going to be your familiar, but if I will, if you need a drink, I'll grab one for you.
Sign
Not
a
monster.
contract in blood. Why don't you?
That's what if I have to prick myself, that's where it gets hard.
Hey, fellas, you're not tricking me into some sort of pact with Satan now, are you?
You're gonna trade places with me so that you can move that book that's not supposed to be where it is. That's all you wanted to do, huh? I could have done that. Gee.
Oh, you just made me think that poltergeists are just simply ghosts waiting on assignment for emails to come in of what they need to do to annoy their host family.
And here's your script for the Beetlejuice sequel.
Where they've decided that some of Beetlejuice's tactics weren't so bad, so they make their own Beetlejuice style task force, and then he has to come back and show that who's top banana.
Throw down.
Yes. Show them the error of their ways by being more evil than what they can cook up.
And see, the good thing is Michael Keaton can do this in the makeup. It won't make any difference his age. He just looks more like Beetlejuice now.
Covers wrinkles and moss.
Yeah.
That would be fucking
His hair
perfect.
is Beetlejuice's hair now. You just got to grow it out.
It's the same hairline. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves announced that the movie's materializing. It's actually coming out.
Didn't you see the video of them together?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're...
Do you think that's gonna be good?
I don't care. I'm excited that they're making it.
I care.
Yeah.
I want it to be good.
I want it to be
goddammit.
good, but I mean, I'm a guaranteed sale to see it.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not going to do what they need to do, and they need to give this kind of project to someone on the level of Edgar Wright. He should,
Oh,
that would
that's
be
the kind of person
sick.
that should be working on this, but it's not going to be. We know that. So
Yeah.
that's what you want. That's the kind of person that would knock it out of the park and create a whole.
Bill and Ted, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Now I would like that. Gate Creeper, I feel, are getting better and better. They're trying different things.
They're not 19 anymore.
Well, the thing is, most of these HM2 bands will just stick in that fucking goddamn Dismember rut, and they won't try
Yeah.
interesting things. That's why I sent you that Wretched Fate. I was like,
Yeah,
that's a fucking brutal death metal band doing HM2. Yeah, that's I like different shit, different things with that. That guitar sound doesn't just have to do that one thing. You know?
Yeah, Axe Slasher does HM2s live. Both guitar players do.
What is this?
This is Hate Eternal.
Some of that Hate Eternal is what I consider like self-help metal. Like all the songs are like, I shalt become my willpower is manifest.
I am the big shit.
The entitlement of willpower. Like, okay. This sounds great. Sounds like it's right up my alley. Yeah, those two guys that like our show.
The two listeners,
are
thank
gonna
you for
love
downloading it 100
love
times.
this episode. Yet they still wouldn't tweet us any goddamn questions.
Oh yeah,
Fucking lazy
that's
fucks.
a fun. That's a fun experiment.
That helps the depression, doesn't it?
This booming podcast with thousands of downloads. Hey, anyone want to get on the air with a question? Not, absolutely not. Please, God, no. Why?
Welcome to my world. I've been dealing with this my entire creative career. Like, is everything I'm making garbage? Like, no. We just systematically ignore you. Like,
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, we have actual garbage to pay attention to.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, and then, no, Patrick, this is some kind of universal karmic debt that you're paying.
No, I'm full on thinking about going black hat with this shit and hiring a Russian bot farm to just spread the word of the filth chamber.
Oh, you're going threaten with it?
Fuck it. He's not even smart enough to do that.
Well, I'm saying we should do a threaten podcast tour where we just
Show up and play to no one or speak to no
Yeah.
one. I've thought about doing live events, and I realized it'd probably be just like our asking for questions. It'd be just us sitting at Mutiny, annoying everyone else trying to read.
Well, that might be the better option. Is just to do podcasts in public, not necessarily quote unquote live.
Just
but
take it to a
in
coffee
public.
shop and do it from Sputnik.
Yeah, just on the corner of Colfax. I don't know. This sounds appealing to me.
We'll just get all our shit taken.
That's right. That's right. That would.
There are probably other areas we could do it and actually have some fun, but I think literally on Colfax we get our shit taken. I've had dudes walk up to me on Colfax and be like, "That's a pretty girl. You holding on to her tight?" Yes.
They literally said
Saying
that to
shit
you.
like yeah, just be like, you should watch your pretty girl kind of shit. It's like, okay.
That's amazingly creepy.
Yes,
I
very
can't believe
creepy.
people are saying that. Are
This
these
is a while ago. This is a while ago.
homeless types?
Possibly. I don't judge.
Not to disparage.
Soon to be homeless myself, so I don't
What are
judge.
you, oh, is Ashley kicking you out? You're not cutting it.
Yes.
You're not cutting the
Not,
mustard.
not a provider anymore. Turns out I'm much more expensive to provide for than she is.
Well, just the amount of feed every day.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Mm-hmm. And of course, I can't have that industrial Purina crap. This is Dance with the Dead.
Bye.
That's the band. The song is Tension. The electronic music that's okay to like? Yes.
Depends on the vocals.
There are none.
Oh, then yeah, no, this isn't. This shit just bores me. It's got to be 80s-ier than this.
This is
for me.
but this is a good podcast bet. This one is like, we've just come in from the theme song. We got to keep the energy up for a little bit. This is a good bed for that. Excuse me, miss. Would you like to be on the show? Would you like to be on the show?
No, I'm not having it.
Sir, would you like to speak? What do you think about the Chucky movies? Random passerby with a mustache. Oh, speaking of Mark Hamill, voice
No.
of
that's right.
Chucky the Clown.
Yeah, I'm
Chucky the
conflicted
Doll.
about that. Chucky the Clown. I'm conflicted about that.
I think that he'll
no.
do a good job.
Oh no, he'll do a great job, but I don't want that movie to be good.
Yeah, I don't want it to be good either, but I do like Aubrey Plaza. I think it's weird for her to
Oh,
be
I
cast
love
as a
her.
mother, but
Yeah, she's I guess she's old now. I guess. But,
Old by Hollywood
No,
standards.
she's lovely. Yeah, I've had a crush on her for a while. Clearly, she's got problems, but I like her.
I think that I don't know what to think of it yet. I mean, we haven't seen any real meat. We got to see a Chucky scene or two to make a real judgment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I wonder how Hamill's gonna play it. I think that he's in angry old man mode.
he's perfect choice. I honestly, when they said they were getting someone, I said probably gonna be someone like Mark Hamill, and it's like boom, like whoa,
Shit, I nailed it. There's a guy in England that built a castle all by himself.
I heard about this. I didn't see it though. How's it look?
It looks like a castle.
Oh, just like he made. It's not like a shitball castle.
nope,
It's like,
it looks like a castle.
Oh, good for him.
I imagine if you spend 10 years building something, you eventually get good at it.
Is it what did he use? Just shit off the street?
Rocks.
He just like pebbles he found. Just started one
Much
day
like we furnished our house that we lived in. He pulled everything in from the garbage.
from the alleyway.
Yes.
Yeah, when we lived together in a house that was strictly furnished from the alleyway.
I'm surprised none of us got bed bugs, to be quite honest.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no. You got bed
Oh
bugs?
yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Yes. Oh yes, I did.
Oh.
I think it took years for me to realize I had bed
Oh,
bugs.
no.
But, yeah. Do you know what that's? I can't think of this. It's this white powdery shit. It's like diatomaceous.
Diatomaceous earth.
Yes, I bought some of that. Which is like ground up bones of
Fish.
sea anemones
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. Yeah. I had to put that on my mattress and shit to kill them.
Woo.
Back in the day, yeah, that was back. I mean, I haven't. That was back in the old house. I haven't had any flare ups since. Thank Crom.
No, Jackie didn't bring bed bugs in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Colorado's a good state for bed bugs, right? Is it like a little too dry for them?
No, it's rampant in Denver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a huge problem in Denver. Capitol Hill, it's like a major
Oh,
issue.
well, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Capitol Hill. A lot of people pulling mattresses in from the alleyways.
From the alleyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people using the same alleyway as a toilet.
Sidewalk's my pillow.
Bumblebee too. That whole thing is just, oh, Look Well. If you get a chance, audience, look up Look Well on YouTube.
The show that Conan O'Brien wrote for Adam West to star in.
Specifically.
Yeah, which is a genius sitcom. There was only ever one episode.
Just a pilot.
Adam West plays an acting teacher / detective.
Well, kind of.
Who used to be what he played.
He played a detective. Bannock.
Or Bannigan, or
Bannigan.
Bannock is George Papard.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, he played Bannigan, who was a detective on television, which makes him think he's qualified to help real detectives in cases. And he uses his acting to gain entry to these places. But the joke is always that he's got the most cornball actor interpretation of what it could be. So the reference we were making is there's a scene where they have to break into a ball, like a billionaire ball, in honor of homeless people. So he, being the brilliant actor and detective he is, dresses as an old-timey hobo with a bindle stick
from the 20s.
Yes, walking around, talking to all these people in ball gowns and tuxedos. The sidewalk is my pillow. Thank you for your support.
He goes into the police department to help him remember. Get out of here! What are you? And he's like, don't forget I have this, and he holds up his badge, and he's like, that's an honorary badge. And he's like, I was given this in a ceremony in Television City.
That's such a Conan O'Brien thing to do. Don't forget I have this. That's from a cereal box, sir.
It's oh god, I just wish there had been just one season.
Or a movie. I'd settle for a movie.
TV movie of Look Well.
Well, that's why we were fortunate enough to record Adam West's final musical album.
Yes, which Adam contributed drums to. Yes, it was
fun little grindcore project.
It was a remote. Yeah, it was all his idea. It was something he wanted to do in his golden years, but then he passed away soon after. So then, I think there might still be some posthumous recordings.
Yes. We much like Tupac, we may unearth some new Adam fucking West material. But that was one of my favorite experiences as a recording artist, is getting that call from Adam West and talking to Batman about his vision for a small grindcore project that incorporated both you and I specifically.
And he was funny too. He'd put on the cowl in the studio sometimes. He wasn't afraid to do Batman lines, or he would just act like Batman sometimes.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I appreciated that we were there to witness it.
And one time he brought up Burt Ward on Skype. That's the closest we got to him. But
I found it weird that they both used Skype completely naked. Naked.
Well, Burt kept wanting to do guest vocals on the album, but
I was one of my first vocal gigs, so I was a little protective of the. If Smarter Man probably would have let him do some backups, but I was a little protective of the vocals on that album.
Remember Rose and Corinne were there while we were recording that, and watching us do that.
They couldn't believe that we had him in the room with us.
He was a little handsy.
Yeah, unfortunately. They were really nice to him about it.
I think they were leading him on. Personally, I blame them.
Well, it was weird that they showed up dressed like Frazetta paintings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He thinks we're kidding, but they these girls we knew, they would go to Renaissance Fair dressed up like barbarian girls, basically. Like, I mean, and they made the costumes themselves out of rabbit fur and shit. It was
Rabbits that they got from their neighborhood.
It was dangerous. It was dangerous.
Transition into us discussion.
Oh, sure.
I know that you said you had some problems with it.
Oh, yeah, but very small. Yeah, it's just
I don't have any problems.
zero, huh?
Almost zero. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I will. Snack and I saw it last night, and I went in. We talked about this before, and we had floated some theories to each other about what kind of like motifs and themes would be present, and we both kind of thought that either it was going to be allegory for mental illness, or maybe even like a black on black crime kind of like commentary.
That's what I was expecting.
That's just what I was putting together with the title and like some of the trailer stuff, and just kind of seeing
in the posters,
trying to put together the puzzle that's presented there. So I went into the movie with that mindset of like, let's pick apart every single thing that he's showing us.
Yeah.
And and from that perspective, like thinking as a director and trying to like, I'm solidified that I admire him completely as a director.
Me too.
Like, obviously he's not looking for my validation or anything, but I mean, Key and Peele it rivals the Chappelle Show in some of the funniest TV we've ever had, in my opinion.
I feel it's topped it.
It had a longer run.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys are consistently hilarious, and they wrote, produced, and directed a lot of that stuff too. So,
some of the funniest skits of all time, like a couple of them.
Yeah, it's really brilliant work. And then Get Out obviously was like a holy shit. That was a shot across the bow of like, I'm talented, motherfucker. Like, pay attention.
Yeah, for a first movie, it was like you could tell he had planned every fucking moment of that movie his entire life.
And I think that Us was very much the same, but the kind of place where I landed because I was picking apart every scene and trying to remember every little thing that's shown to me to see if it pays off in the future.
Which
it did.
He is so good at. Yeah, he is so good at little details, just being noticeable or not noticeable the first viewing.
And a master of capturing the creepiness of white people normalness.
Yes.
Like just like when she's walking through the boardwalk in 1986 and like all those people like just playing rock paper scissors with each other. You're like, ugh, creepy. Like, and that's mostly a product of like, as a child, that's how he interpreted a lot of the stuff.
Stoner guy behind the ride there
with the 1111 sign. And
I mean the stoner guy that's running the ride.
Oh, with
it's like
everyone with a black flag shirt on was a creep.
Yeah, every weird white person in the movie is kind of put through a slight lens that I go, this is kind of the first time I'm getting to see how other races see white people.
Yes. I mean, even Tim Heidecker's tattoos in that movie, where you're just like, wait, he's a yuppie, but he's got the like tattoos that were big. That makes sense because he would have been 10 years ago.
Oh boy, his character.
Do all that shit.
His character was great.
It was amazing. Him and his untethered version were amazing. They had so much swagger. But like watching it from a directorial perspective and going in with expectations set by Get Out of there may be there's a major metaphor, theme, or motif that I need to pick apart here. And at first I thought I was like on top of it with mental illness. I was like, it's 100% that. But then the scale of events got exponentially bigger, and it was outside of the single family, and it was within the entire world.
Yeah.
And that's when all of a sudden I was like, well, wait, no, that's a statement in of itself to be like, stop fucking following the trail and pay attention to the movie and realize that this is a literal telling of a surreal story. So it's actually like subverting our expectations as an audience of him being an Oscar-winning director that put out something with a really deep social commentary to go and approach his next piece of work like that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the kind of motherfucker to be like, no, it's not there. This is a story. I'm telling it as a literal interpretation of that story, and that's almost like that's a fuck you to the people that are trying to go into it and look into it too much. I think and obviously the cool thing about art is that you can apply metaphors to it that make sense to you personally and all that kind of stuff. But my interpretation is that he's like, everyone's going to be coming in here looking for another statement like Get Out. And I want to tell a movie that's like Chud, Nightmare on Elm Street, or all the movies that show up in the very first scene in the background, but are clearly highlighted for a reason and art directed for a reason. And I think that he's trying to tell you in that scene, like, interpret this movie with the same lens you would interpret Chud or Nightmare on Elm Street, which is have a good time during this horror movie. Like, the huge social commentaries, don't really worry about it. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, but still, the whole movie is social commentary to such a degree.
But it's not.
I think it completely overshadows the horror. I mean, not that it outdoes it, but I'm saying, like, that's all anyone's talking about. So it's like, I mean, almost nobody's talking about the actual horror of it anymore. They're so blown away by the metaphor.
No one wants to call it horror, too. And everyone's
except him. He was like, exactly, it is horror, motherfucker.
That's what I mean. Is I think that the statement there is that, like, it's going to be funny to watch all these people spin out on their perceptions of the metaphor, but he's just trying to make a cool horror movie.
Well, that is one thing he never lost sight of. Like, yeah, I felt it was the metaphor is so crazy that I can't stop thinking about it, but it still was effective as a horror movie. No, see, my changes were all like small things. Like, I think they should have always worn the red uniforms. It shouldn't have been a choice that they made. Like, little things like that. See,
yeah.
All my changes would have been mechanical changes because, like, the tone, everything, he nailed everything so perfectly. Yeah, it was. It's such a strange metaphor that I can't stop thinking about it. And yeah, there's a point halfway through the film, you expect it to be a film about race, and I think that was his master trick, because even all the marketing, he made it look like it was going to be consistent with Get Out, and it's going to be about the duality of it's going to be about race, it's going to be about being black, and then there's a point in the film where it clearly goes, no.
Everyone.
This is about everyone. This is not about just black people or white people or anything. And so
this is about human cruelty.
And that's when I got really confused and went, "Oh, I'm watching something completely different than I expected."
That's I think you articulated what I've been trying to say with my stone mouth, but that's essentially it, where it's like you go in thinking that it's going to be a commentary on race, and it is to the degree that his perspective is different than my white guy perspective, because, like I said, he noticed the creepy stuff when he was a child that white people do and put that onto screen, which we've seen a million times from the reverse perspective of some, like, you know, wholesome white lady walking down the street and some creepy black dude, you know, in a, you know, walking, and he's just homeless, but the filmmakers use that metaphor because they know that we're gonna sit there and go, oh boy, there's tension there.
It's shorthand,
So showing it's like it goes both ways. Like,
this film had the random white victim. Guy that is like, there's the token white victim. Like, just the guy that comes out, get off my car. Get the fuck off my car. And I was like, wow, it was very interesting to see that. He doesn't highlight any of it. Like, look, everybody, it's a what? Like, I feel someone like Tarantino would have made all of this so obvious and tried to rub your nose in it. And like everything Peele does is very much
Tarantino's dead set on letting everyone know he's got a hood pass. Like, it feels like he really wants you to know that he can say the N-word with impunity.
I hope he's still not doing that with his new movie, because everyone's saying he's supposedly going to be doing the Tate murders in the movie, which I think is a mistake. If there's going to be zero way people are going to be able to sit through that. It's going to be way worse than the torture scene in Reservoir Dogs.
After seeing the trailer, it
looks like a comedy.
It doesn't really allude to it's going to go that way. But I mean,
you never know.
You never know. Which, I mean, there's going to be violence.
He
in
likes
one of
to
his
fuck
movies.
the audience.
Yes.
But anyway, that was a little sidebar on Tarantino. Anyway, back to Peele. Yeah, Peele, like, I've never seen someone 2 movies in so fucking perfectly confident.
I tell you,
so perfect. His direction, so the tone is so perfect. Everything.
I'm telling you, 100%. It's because of all the experience of Key and Peele.
And he's a great actor.
He's a good actor.
He knows it from the other side.
He did both. He directed a lot of stuff in Key and Peele.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look at the credits, he's credited as directing
their shit
a lot
was
of things.
so cinematic sometimes.
Exactly. So he was doing like tons of little movies constantly for 7 years while they did that show. So I mean, he got more film school education than people that actually pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for film school education, because it was his ass on the line, like his reputation, all of it. And it's like, it better be good, motherfucker. And like to a point where in the middle of like doing it, they decided to start directing some of the sketches too. And I think that's where he got so good, is because with parody and satire, you have to nail tones that are not yours. So it's the same thing as like an artist drawing Conan exactly the way that
Yeah.
it was drawn, or drawing Superman the exact way it was drawn, and then over time you develop your own style by copying other styles until you start to pick apart what they're actually doing and not just copying what they've done. And I think that's where he's at now. He's
But
like,
he is so immediate. Like even Get Out, I can't compare that to. It's clearly inspired by Stepford Wives, but like the style of it is very him. Like
Yeah.
that first scene is immediately like that's like a token calling card scene for him. I feel.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Hitchcockian. Like you could show that on his reel.
Yeah.
And it's his first scene. It's like it's
Yeah.
immediately an iconic scene. Just that guy walking around in that dark neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's so scary, and I feel he did the same thing with the first scene in this movie. Us had so many iconic images
Yes.
and ideas. Yeah, it's just I feel he's like the M. Night Shyamalan that's not disappointing.
Yeah.
That's kind of his style is similar. I feel he's like, but
He doesn't rely
I
on
feel
it.
he's a better director.
I don't
He's
think
like-
he relies on like a big twist.
Yeah, even the twist in this, I didn't feel was a twist. It was more like a final statement or something
Yeah.
like that. It's like, ooh!
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people said, oh, I knew it the whole time. Like, well, I kind of did too, but I thought he's not going to go there. That's too ballsy. And then the whole thing is like, no, I did it, mother. Like that.
Well,
like
without
a mic drop. You
well,
know?
without, but the difference is, but without that twist, the story doesn't work. Because the
yeah.
Tethered would have stayed underground forever without that twist.
It is a very it recontextualizes everything, but I didn't feel like he could have just ended the movie right before that. I still felt it was very satisfying.
There's
it was like the
several
cherry on top. I
There's
felt.
several things though, with Red being the only one that speaks, and the way that
Yes.
she
Yes.
speaks is through the same metaphors and storytelling that a 14-year-old would tell. Like that's pretty powerful. By spoilers, showing the Arrested Development of her being switched with the other girl from the beginning. I am one of those people that saw that coming. Obviously, I didn't see every single bit of that, but as soon as they were in the psychologist's office and they were talking about how she doesn't talk
Right.
anymore, I was like, they switched.
That
was-
I kind of thought that too, but I also thought, well, I also don't know where this is going.
Right.
I have no idea
just
what
having
would
that
even
information
mean, you know?
didn't
Yeah.
spoil anything, because
Right,
it's like,
right.
well, so what? You don't know what she is and why she switched, and you have none of that context.
It's more like he gave you a key and then you didn't find out what door it unlocked
Yes.
until the very end. So yeah, I wasn't disappointed with that at all, and I felt it was a cherry on. I didn't feel he was trying to hide necessarily, lie to the audience about that information.
No.
In fact, there's clues about it throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I've rewatched it, and oh
Mm-hmm.
boy, that's the thing when you can make a movie that you can rewatch and
Yeah.
see more and more in each time.
Well,
And
that's the Hitchcock
the
influence.
metaphor expand more each time. That's the real brilliance of it. And he wrote it, right?
Yes.
That's the crazy thing. That's for him to be that good of a director and to write something so because I couldn't have figured this out the way to set out to write a script that's going to embody a metaphor. You kind of have to reverse engineer it in such a way that I couldn't have come up with what he came up with. So I think his whole statement on class or whatever he wants. See, that's the other thing. He leaves enough unexplained that you can fill in the blanks as much or as little as you want as
Yes.
to what or how things work, or
Which is why I think it's ridiculous that people are trying to say that they know exactly like what he's saying there, where it's like, no, it's a great piece of art because you can apply your interpretation
Right.
to understand it. Just like this is a classic example, but that Bob Seger song about "On the Road Again, Here I Am." Everyone who has a profession that hits the road assumes that song's about their profession. So musicians say that song's about them, which it is if you really break down the lyrics. But a traveling vacuum salesman is going to be like, that song's about what I do. A fucking long haul trucker is going to think that that's about what they do. And it's all because of their perspective brought to it. And I think that that's what's great about it, because I could see how you could apply a class metaphor to that story, but I also just saw it as the general, another commentary on the cruelty of man and its willingness to dispose. We created these things for convenience, and then it didn't work out the way we thought it would, so we just shoved them underground. It's like we created nuclear power, and it didn't work out the way we thought it would, so we just shoved it underground too.
yeah, it's a metaphor. Yeah, just that can be peeled like an onion.
An open-ended fun one, which is great, but it also leads to I've seen endless conversations about people being like, the things I'm reading online don't match what I thought it was about, and it's like, that's fine though.
Well, I
Like,
told you I
that's okay.
left the theater and I literally just saw a bunch of white couples going, I didn't get it. And like one woman said to her boyfriend, I need to Google a summary or something. And
That aspect of movie watching culture is driving me crazy. Where it's like, no, just expose yourself to more great art and like challenge yourself to interpret it past face value, and you'll start to learn that all of these are just theories that everyone's floating.
he's
It's not.
very smart at sneaking in all this heady stuff into a movie that still works strictly on a visceral level. You know, it's a thriller.
I think it works better if you don't try to apply metaphor to it and interpret it literally as what you're seeing on the screen. I think that it works as a fun horror movie in that way.
I really liked it. I thought it was a really good movie, and I spent a lot of it not trying to find a commentary, which was really nice because I was just so engrossed in the story, and I really just focused on it more as a horror.
Transition into, did you and your friends ever pass around like mythical porn tapes to each other?
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh,
That was such like a thing for a young man.
you just opened up a whole can of worms here.
Just dusted off a whole treasure chest inside your brain we haven't visited. in a while.
Jay's fishing trip.
Oh, you've told me about this. You've told me about this.
VHS tape labeled Jay's fishing trip. I just saying those words, I'm getting a Pavlovian erection right now. Like, yes, before I'd ever touched any real ladies, I had Jay's fishing trip, and we passed Jay's fishing trip around a lot. Because, the one guy whose dad was Jay, Jay didn't understand that his tape was leaving the house for months. And like his tape would be at my house for like 3 weeks, and then my friend Jacob would borrow it for like a week. And yeah, it was amazing. It was 6 hours taped off of the Triple Ecstasy channel. Off of satellite with commercials, and like it had 3 or 4 movies on it. I tell you exactly the movies. I found them again on Pornhub, and it was all the classic porn stars. So I grew up jerking it to the classic porn ladies.
The
like
classic
Pearl
porn
did.
though was much more interesting than porn now. Like the storylines in porn now are like, we can't fuck, we're sisters, and then they fuck. But those had actual plots and shit. Like the Esquire Theater here in Denver used to do 3D porn showings of 70s porn
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
And I was always like amazed at how much plot and effort actually went into those.
Oh yeah, and full soundtracks.
Yeah,
With
soundtrack-
composed
yes,
soundtracks.
yes.
with songs for the theme of
Yes.
the movie and everything.
The 3D was probably not the greatest thing in the world because it's just, always turned into a cock coming at you. But,
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of course.
as you do. For every cock, you got some nips.
A
so.
red and a blue cock
Yes.
coming at you, and they never look right in the middle.